What's good? What's good? It's your girl Champagne. We here with another episode of what's my name? Ms. Champagne Evolution. I got so many names. I drive myself crazy. It's like I'm running from somebody. Well, we're gonna get this thing started. We have a special guest today, the legendary Cliff Perkins, the lead singer of Soul Generation, and now book author. So we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna bring him right on. We're not gonna waste no time. What's up, Cliff? Welcome.
Hey, what's happening? How y'all doing?
It's just you and I and the
Oh,
people
all
out
right.
there
Well,
in the atmosphere.
that's cool. Ain't no thing.
Your fan base. You know how it is. The one
Hey,
stop
look
shop.
here.
The
I'm
lady
used
who
to
do it
that.
all. You know. So
Yeah,
a lot of people will be tuning in and clicking in. You can see this live on three platforms right now for those who probably wondering. We are live on YouTube, we live on Instagram, and to make sure we don't get any feedback, just turn your the mic down. If anything in the background is on, turn it down. So we good. Okay, you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you. You hear
All right,
me?
so we're good. Yeah. So Cliff Perkins, you already been through this a million times.
That's for
Um,
sure.
we just make sure all our tabs on the computer are closed off, so won't be no feedback. You know, because the other speaker will show. If you happen to hear any echo, that means we got to close tabs up. But I want to get right into it. You know what I mean? We don't waste no time. We're gonna start with you already people know you, but there's some people who just don't know you. Introduce yourself to the world. Mm-hmm.
Well, my name is Cliff Perkins. I'm lead singer of Soul Generation, the group that's got 9 gold records and 4 platinum records, and have traveled the world and still traveling the world. I'm acting like I'm 20 years old, but I travel
Uh-huh.
a little slower now, that's for sure.
Well, that's what legends do. They move a little slower when they become legends.
Yeah, 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 and it's good to be that, and good to be here, and good to be able to sit and talk with you, and to keep this thing moving.
Yeah, and well, I'm like, I got all these things. I'm trying to work like I got six people working with me, working this, working that, working that. But you know how we do, independent. We get it done. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what you have going on? Let's
Well,
talk
I got
about
a
it.
lot of stuff going on. I'm still doing the stage stuff with Soul Generation. Still got some tours coming up.
Mhm.
I'm a radio host. I have a radio show, the Generation of Soul show on Tuesday night on WMEL Radio, and it's
Uh-huh.
that's on C19 Radio Boss FM.
Uh-huh.
And I've become an author thanks to you. I mean, I had a lot of help from you putting this thing together, and so far we got 3 books in the hopper with one coming. And
Mhm.
the first one was The Soul of a Generation, and that tells about my trials and tribulations of getting in the music business and staying in the music business. And I was able to do that because of my success with the recordings. My first recording was Body and Soul. Then we went into If I Had $1 Million. Then we did Praying for a Miracle. Then we did I Wonder What She's Doing. And then we did In
Mhm.
Your Way, and In Your Way, and Ooh Baby. So, and the list goes on and on and on. Uh, so after doing that and then writing these books took about, I guess, about a year.
Mhm.
I used to, a lot of my shows backstage. People don't realize that when we do these shows, we come in early, we do a sound check, and then we
Mhm.
wait 3 and 4 hours before the show starts. So during those 3 and 4 hour time period, I'd be backstage talking to different artists. And when I first got started, it was like Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations,
Mhm.
and Mary Wilson from the Supremes. We would talk a lot and talk about the business end of the business. And I was really knowledgeable about a lot of that business stuff because I read a lot and paid attention to a lot. I was became part owner of the record company that I was with the songs
Mhm.
coming out $1 million and all that, only because I kind of knew how to say no, and I knew the business a little bit. So, and then what happened was we used to be backstage talking. Everybody used to always tell me, Cliff, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I said,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 okay. And I didn't pay it no mind. And then one day I came home and I sat down and I said, wow, maybe I do need to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked, you and I talked, and that's the first thing you said. You need to write a book about it. I said, oh, Lord, everybody tell me to write this book.
Well,
So
you
I
know.
decided, let me go write this book. So all I did was sit down and write what I experienced, and that's what all the books are coming from what I've experienced in the music industry and as Soul Generation, and in my baseball career. You know, I was a baseball player. I played baseball for Greenville National Little League when I was a kid. Then I went to the Babe Ruth team, and then went to high school ball and college ball, and then got lucky and got into a semi-pro league, and then I got involved with the music. So I've had a heck of a career, and a lot of good things have happened to me only because of the man upstairs. You know, he takes care of Cliff, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's no doubt. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I had to give thanks to him, and anything he does, he sends the word, and I follow it. And that's what I've been doing these past 51 years. I've been in the music business, and I guess what 6 months as an author.
Well. What's the difference? Is one harder than the other, or is equivalent? Like, break
Well,
that
no,
down.
the author is a lot easier. The hardest part I had found out about writing a book was remembering everything in the proper sequence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just write stuff down and say, no, that didn't happen that year. That happened the following year. And that was the biggest thing for me, to put everything in sequence, like what happened in 72 and what happened in 73 and what happened in 74. Because my music career started in 1972. My singing career started in 1968.
Mm-hmm.
So putting everything in perspective was the hardest part about writing a book. Now, once I got the dates and times together, it was real easy because I experienced everything I talked about. And I got the opportunity to travel the world. And my first record, Body and Soul, was a major hit.
Mm-hmm.
And we traveled. That record took us everywhere, all around the country and back again. And I'm still working on that record today. You know, I'm getting booked now to do shows all around the country, and East Coast, West Coast, and South Africa, and Paris, and France, and Germany, and all those places. So it's been a real deal for me. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, writing the book and getting everything in order, that was the hardest part. And once I got everything in order, then it was easy to write what I experienced. And then, like the first book was The Soul of a Generation, and then the second book was about the business end of the business,
Mm-hmm.
and that talked about what a lot of artists should be involved in before they get involved in the music industry. You know, like a quick story about me. We were playing the Apollo Theater in New York City, and I had $5,000 in my pocket, and I was jumping around the stage, and then it just hit me. I said, "What are you doing? You can't be carrying all this money and not, you have nothing to show for it. You just got money in your pocket." So I called my cousin at the time, the late great Bill Perkins, and I said, "Bill, we need to sit down and talk about putting some companies together so I can, maintain." So he said, "Come on in tomorrow, or when you finish your Apollo date." So we finished 2 days later, and I went and sat with Bill, and we set up company. We set up a publishing company, a production company, a management company, a booking agent, and we were ready to go. Until this day, those companies still exist, and they're still operating. So, and that gives me my longevity in industry because I'm receiving checks and every month from having these companies in order, and that's what everyone needs to do that's getting into this business. You need to have your business together before you start talking business, and and
Well,
that's
speaking of business, I heard you had a book out about business too. You know,
yeah, yeah. The
a
mix of
mix of success.
success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That's the business book, and that talks about publishing and production
You
and
have it
management.
on you. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. I have it sitting here on my, and this is what it looks like. This is the mix of success.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about all the things an artist should have, or a future artist should have, and it's a lot of
That's
reading, but it's a lot of good information for these artists to have some kind of longevity in the business
yeah.
and to protect your money. You got a lot of people out here hitting these stages and not making no money, and they're still
Mm-hmm.
working and they're not making that money. And the longevity money, that's what I'm talking about. They're getting paid to do the stage work,
Yeah.
but if they don't get stage gigs, they have no money coming in.
Well, a lot of them, the book is good because they could go from chapter that requires, them to look at it that benefits them because sometimes people they'll go get the cash money on stage, but know nothing about the business. So when they learn, if they read your book and learn about the business, since they don't want to read no one else's book, and it'll probably help them not just get the cash for the stage, but get the, like you said, the longevity, the royalties,
Yeah,
and
yeah, and
that's why.
that
Hmm.
that's so important. I mean, I have a lot of things that I purchased because of that longevity. My house and my
Hmm.
car and,
Hmm.
and all that. And I live very comfortably, and only because of taking care of business ever since the Apollo,
Hmm.
19. What year? I don't even remember what year it was. 73, I think it was 1973 that I put everything together,
Hmm.
and, uh, and I'm still operating under those companies, and my publishing and my production and management and booking agent, all of that stuff comes through my companies. And so I'm having a good time. I don't have no pressure no more. When you don't have stuff in place, you have a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure. You can't get your money. You can't ask for the money. See, I really for my success to being able to say no. Somebody would offer me something. If I didn't think it was right, I would say no. I didn't give it a second thought. No, that's not going to work for me. Maybe
Hmm.
when you talk, maybe you need to. What I always tell them: sharpen your pencil. That
Hmm.
number is not right, and
Hmm.
that's how I've been operating with everything. With the royalty percentages and booking percentages and all of that, and it works out. Now I might work a few gigs less that year, but that's okay. I have no headache
Right, right.
because those gigs were headaches. I was looking to get into a headache.
And
I can
I
tell
get
you now.
headaches quick. I be like, yo, I'm sick. They be laughing. My
Yeah,
cousins be
yeah,
laughing at me like, why you always say that? Because all
yeah,
these the meds I be taking. I was like, I got a
yeah. But
headache.
but you got to be able to say that, and you got to be able to say no. I don't like this, or that's really not working, or I can't. I just don't like it.
Hmm.
Even some of the things that I've done. Even when putting a show together. I put a show together. I do all the choreography for the group.
Hmm.
And once we do it, and then I happen to see it on stage, and I say, "Oh man, I don't like that. We
Hmm.
have to change that." So I'd go back in and make the changes, so I'm comfortable with it. And I have to be comfortable with everything I do. I just can't just go along and ride the wave and hope for the best. I'm in charge of the best. You have to be in charge of your own destiny, and that's what I try to be. I mean, music business is rough because you're putting records out and you're hoping people will buy them, and same thing with books. You putting these books out and you're hoping people are going to buy them. But you got to put out the right stuff. You just can't put stuff out and think people are going to buy it because they're not. They're only going to buy what they like or what catches their eye. And
All right, we lost. Oh, okay, he's back. Hold on. You back? All right, let me just take him till he get back. Right. Hold till pause 1 minute. You back? Okay, you good? Okay. 1, 2. Hello, hello. You back? Okay, we can't hear you. I'm gonna take you off the screen for a second. Okay, fix your mic. Yeah. You probably gotta go out and come back in. Stand by, everybody. He's fixing his string, his link. You 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Well, he's fixing it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Stand by, everybody. Hmm. Hello. Yeah, just turn it off and turn it back on. Hmm. Okay. Hold on. Let me help him fix. Do some technical. Hmm. Stand by, everybody. Technical difficulty. Let's see if I can get him back on. Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna have him go out and try to come back in. See if the internet could click on. Yeah. Stand by, everybody. Let me throw some joints down right here until Cliff come back. Because up, I hear him. Cliff is back.
We
Yeah,
back?
1 2 1 2. Turn your camera around. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, here I am.
All right,
Hello.
1 2. We back, y'all. They staying. They watching. Let's go.
Oh,
So,
okay.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, so I was saying, I've never been afraid to say no and show my displeasure on stuff I do or anybody else does that I that I don't like or needs to be fixed, and that's how I roll. I mean, same thing in my household. If things are not right in the household, you got to correct it and make sure everything is right because everybody needs to be on the same page and everybody needs to be happy. And that's how you operate. And with me, I was working with three other guys, and everybody, of course, had their own opinion on everything after stuff is done. Then here
mm-hmm.
they come with their opinion. So I've dealt with that over the years. I've changed personnel over the years. When Soul Generation first started, we were a four-man group, and then one of the guys died. Earl Davenport died in Jersey City, and so we had to replace him. And then we went on and went out with four men and Grin, and then everybody started having their opinions on different things. I want to do different things that didn't match up with what the group was doing. So we had to sit down and have a serious talk as to where we want to go with this stuff. So I mean, we did that, and I've always been an admirer of the group, the Fifth Dimension. I always liked that sound with the women in the group. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, if I ever got the chance to get a woman, I'm going to put a woman in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. One of the guys decided to retire. Jeff decided to retire. So what I did, I had some background singers at the time. I had two girls back singing background for me, and I brought one of them and put him in Jeff's spot. And her name is Vita LaRue, who became my wife. But she could really sing. And then Herman Hammond, who was original member of Soul Generation, he retired also, and I went and got another gentleman. So now it's a three person operation. It's myself, Cliff Perkins, Miss Vita LaRue Perkins, and Donald Taylor, and we've been operating for the last 15, I guess 18 years as a three-man group, and things have been going well. Been going well. So, and a lot of that's in my first book, The Soul of a Generation. I wrote about all that stuff, all the trials and tribulations of being in a group and trying to maintain and trying to keep everybody happy because that's your job as the leader. And but keeping them happy, it has to be right for the business too. You just can't be doing stupid stuff and keep people smiling and things ain't right because there's no longevity built in there. So it had to be set up for the business to be right, to make everybody happy, to get people paid, uh, and that's how I've been functioning over the last 50, and I guess 53 years now. Oh my goodness!
So,
As
do
I
you have
say,
that book handy?
yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
have.
bring those books out so they can see what you're working with. Because some of them haven't, and some of them probably want to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it. You know
This
what I
is
mean?
this. Yeah, Champagne. This is the first one, "The Soul of a Generation," which is selling really well. Matter of fact, you sent me the article from Amazon that it was number one in the R&B section and number four overall in sales. So that's pretty good
What? Yeah, I'm
uh,
listening. Hmm.
for a brand new guy on the block. You know what I'm saying?
So check it out right there. You see it?
Yeah, that is. That's it. Soul of a
Okay.
Generation. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we again when we finished that one, we went in and we did the next one, which was this one, the Mix of Success.
Uh huh.
So we got the two books here, and then we sat down, and decided to do a little, I guess, a children's book about Little League baseball, and I have that one sitting right here too. I'm a ham. I have all this stuff
You
around me
got
in my
everything.
office. I got
Yeah.
everything, everything here.
Yeah. That looks good. All of it looks
Yeah,
good.
yep. And this is a book about we called it what we call it, batter up. And it talks about Little League baseball. And matter of fact, the picture on the cover is my son, who I coached at
Mm-hmm.
Greenville National Little League, where I played as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that's why I wanted to use his picture because everything came together. He played for me and under a team called Murray Stars, and he's grown up to be a pretty great kid, and he's doing great stuff in the industry also. He does some film things. So,
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, he interviewed me. His company interviewed me about a month ago in Jersey City at the Earl Morgan Library. We sat there and we chopped it up for about 2 hours. of
Hmm.
talk, and that's going to be released pretty soon. They called me and told me it's going to be released pretty soon. So
Well, I call him Well Known Tone. He got other names, Okay
yeah, they
Now and
call
all
him
that.
okay now and all that.
I
I
call him
said,
Well Known Tone.
yeah, I can't remember all the names. I'm too old. So the only thing I
I don't
remember
know
is the
why we
name
got
I
so
gave
many
him.
names. I be like, it depends on who I'm dealing with. I got a different crowd over here. I was like, well, what am I name the podcast? I'm revolving. So evolution. They're gonna be like, you filmmaker, evolution, Lima. What did you want? I said, these are different characters we play. You know
Yeah,
what I
well,
mean?
all that says is, you here, you've been here, and you've accomplished, and you keep accomplishing things, and
Hmm.
you got to have, you can't keep the same name for everything.
It's about evolving, growing,
Yeah.
and I just needed to do something at my level now because what I used to do, I don't feel that anymore. I feel
Yeah.
different. You know what I mean? And
Well, it's the same thing with writing the books. I mean, we had stories, but we didn't have no name, and we had to figure out what we wanted to call the book.
yeah,
And
everything,
the
and
first,
that's a fact.
yep,
That's a
and the
fact.
first book was The Soul of a Generation, and it played out to be that's what it is, a soul of a generation. And then the next one was a mix of success, talking about the business, and
Which is
it
much needed. It's just I just wish that book was out years ago, real long time ago, when all of them was out there getting beat. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. It's a shame you see a lot of guys still trying to get on stage. They can't get on stage. They can't get walkers and
Yeah.
canes and all that. And I'm not second guessing on nobody, but I think that if they'd had their business together, they wouldn't have to do that. I mean, Cliff Perkins won't be seen that way. I'm not going to be rolled on stage. If I can't walk on stage, I'm not going to be on stage. It's just that simple. And
They have rent to pay. They need food on the table. They can't go into a 9 to 5 no more. And Social Security is number $2.30.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and all that's because of not taking care of
Your
business. I would
business.
assume. I mean, I'm not knocking
Well, it's a
anybody.
fact. It's a fact because if you handle your business, that's why different. I have multiple streams of income. No matter how broke I get, it's still another multiple stream of income. It could be enough for groceries. I always use groceries because people relate to that immediately. You know what I mean? If you said something else, they don't relate to it. So I just say groceries.
Yeah,
They relate to it because they need to have groceries every day too.
yeah,
So if you
yeah,
said something else like, oh, a car or this or that, they go, oh, she just want extra stuff. So I just say groceries. And then it all comes in and they calm down. We human, no matter what
yeah.
level we
But,
at. Hmm.
but see, you can live without a car. You can't live without
Without
groceries.
food. And that's why I land that plane exactly like that because they could relate to it immediately.
Yeah,
And some be like, why you always talk about food? Because y'all don't know nothing else. I
yeah,
have to
yeah,
speak your language. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's
They
for
be thinking
sure.
you work for free. Listen, we all are business. We are brands. When you're a brand, you quote your price for your services, your time. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And people, they get more than what they pay for, and they still mad. I say it is what it is. You keep it
yeah,
moving, or you keep it grooving. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's for sure.
But
Well, a lot of times, though, a lot of people. I think sometimes we might take people for granted. You think people
mhm,
know as much as you know because when you talk about stuff,
mhm,
sometimes I'm talking business to people and I know they're scratching their heads saying, "What the hell is he talking about?" They
mhm,
don't understand. They don't know. So, it sounds like they're jumping on you, but they're not. They're
mhm.
letting you know. I don't know, and you're 4 steps ahead of me. You got to back up and get even with me because I'm not where you are knowledgeably. So
Well, that's a fact too, and that's where sometimes things to understanding and misunderstanding. But at the same time, business is rough. It's not easy, and but I could tell you one thing: a lot of groups broke up because of the understanding and misunderstanding instead of just sitting down having lunch and conversing. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean that's
Because some great singers and backup singers, all the titles there is to makeup groups, people walk away because sometimes people just need to sit down and grab some groceries, some food, and talk about it. You know what I mean? And if it
well.
works out, it works out. If not, thank you, and we go our separate directions.
Well, that's because people assume. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I've had the same problem with some of my guys. They were assuming that I was the guy in charge of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
There was a concert series going on that I was part of, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't running the concert series. I was just part of it. I was on there to work. But
Mhm.
because of my affiliation with the promoter, everybody thought that him and I were partners, and money came, and him and I were handling the money. So when the money didn't get dispersed properly, all the artists were coming to me saying, "Cliff, where's my money?" And I'm
Mhm.
saying, "I
Excuse me.
don't know." I said, I'm like you. I'm a worker. I'm
You should
hired
have.
help.
Yeah, you should have said who booked you.
Yeah,
That's who you go
yeah.
to. Who booked
But
you?
I mean, that's them going around the back door. That's all that was. They
Mhm.
weren't man enough to talk to the guy who booked them, and they come back to somebody who they thought, was in bed with that person. So I had to
Mhm.
straighten all the acts out, and I'm talking about major acts too. I'm not talking about,
Mhm.
local yokels. I'm talking about major acts, and I had to sit down and straighten them out and say, look, I'm just like you. I'm hired help. I'm getting my money just like you got to go get your money. So go get it because I don't have yours. I got mine, but I
Now
don't have yours.
speaking. Now speaking of higher help, the obviously this is 2026. What you feel about what's going on with the shows and events and venues out there today? Some of them using non-original members, and I know the fans need to play a part of it because they shouldn't go for it. But the fans just want what they want sometimes, and they're not authentic enough. But the promoter is pushing it down their throat and selling them this. What you think about that?
Well, and for the fans don't know. The fans are buying a ticket where they see the name of a group. They'll see Soul Generation on the ticket and thinking they're coming to see Cliff Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why I changed my name from Soul Generation to Soul Generation featuring Cliff Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't see my name on there, it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate it. I hate what's happening with this using these review groups and all, especially when the original groups are still here functioning. I mean, I really hate that, but I can tell you why it's happening because the promoters who are hiring these review groups are not paying them nothing, and they don't want to pay the original artists.
No, they
So
want to pocket that money, put it
they
in their
want to
back
pocket.
pocket.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the real deal. They want to pocket that money, and if you look on the flyer, sometime you'll see some of the shows might be hypothetically. I'll use a name. Delphonics Review, and then some
Mm-hmm.
of the shows you won't see review on the show on the flyer. So
Mm-hmm.
people assume that they're going to see Will Hart because Will
Mm-hmm.
Hart is the only original Delphonic out there now.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know until they get there. And an average person will come and they'll just sit there and they're not going to ask for their money back and go through a bunch of changes, but they're just going to come and talk about it later on. But I hate it. I think the system needs to go through a loss situation where if these artists have not recorded with these groups and made records with these groups, they shouldn't be allowed to use a name. I mean,
Well,
just to use,
I agree with that. It's a
I mean,
copyright infringement. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's just crazy. Look, let me tell you, I went out with Blue Magic. They called me in to do leads for them because they didn't have a lead singer, and they asked me to do a mini tour. I went out with Blue Magic. I was with Ray Goodman and Brown. I went out with Al Goodman and Billy Brown and Kevin Owens, and we traveled as Ray Goodman and Brown. I also came back and was signed to what they call the New Moments
Mm-hmm.
on Sugar Hill Records with Sylvie Robinson and Joe Robinson. They called me in to be part of the New Moments. I also went out with the main ingredient. Tony Sylvester called me and asked me to be background singer with Luther and do some concerts. Then I got called to go with Tomorrow's Edition. So I worked with all these groups, but I never felt empowered to use their name.
Mm-hmm.
I never said I'm Cliff Perkins, uh, Blue Magic Review. I had more respect for the group itself. I never used main ingredient. I never used the moments. I never used Reagan and Brown, and I never used Tomorrow's Edition.
Well, see, some people respect that, and some people just go ahead and like the gentleman. I think his name was Stewart. I'm gonna call names. I don't care.
Okay.
Stewart. He said, "Oh, I'm one of the Blue Magic members." My head was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he's a cool dude, but I just think he could sing so well. He could sing with the A. He could sing. You don't need that. You could create your own brand. You sing so well. You know what I
You know.
mean? He
Yeah.
has a gifted voice, and I'm like, be yourself.
Well, it's
You know.
funny. I sat with Wendell Sawyer. When
Mm-hmm.
Wendell called me in to be with their group, because it was Wendell Sawyer and Keith, the late Keith Beaton, and they asked me to come in and do leads. And I told Wendell, I said, you guys are flipping these leads. I said, you need to do a contract on anybody who comes in your group. to sing with you and stop them from leaving you and going on being some kind of review group. You need to
Mm-hmm.
put them on paper. That's what you need to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
That way you have some kind of legal deal. But see, these groups and all these people who book them, they realize that these groups are not going to go to court because it's too
Mm-hmm.
expensive, and that's why it doesn't reach the courts. I mean, what do they win? They win the name that they own automatically already. So they're not going to win nothing. It's not going to be going to get any money for it. But they will win their name back, and the person won't be able to use it. But that's just one person. There might be another person somewhere else that's using the name. I mean, you see, I don't know how
Well,
many
that's why the
temptations.
business. Yeah,
How
that's why
many?
the business need to be right up front, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why they
but
need to have knowledge of it up front. That's why I was
yeah,
saying that book should have been a long time. There's other books out there like Donald Passman, Business and Music, and that was one of the biggest books out there. But some people read it because it's sold. But the thing is, people, they how you said they forming habits. They go with what the crowd is going through instead of
yeah,
being individuals. And I said, well, that's why some people get royalties and some people don't. You
yeah,
instead of being an individual and using your individual thinking, because everything is not going to be exactly your way. Some things got to meet in the middle. Some things you got to take the L. Sometimes
Let
you're
me
going
tell
to
you.
take the win.
Let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you, Champagne. Ain't nothing gonna be exactly like you want it. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Okay, you can sit down and negotiate and all that old stuff, but you're still not gonna get what you want because the person you're negotiating with is not gonna give you what you want because you both have an agenda. He has
That
an agenda to get what he wants, and you have an agenda to get yours. You have to meet in the middle. So
underline
both.
that right there. Underline that because I'm gonna take it back to P Diddy because the groups were saying he's no good. He did them dirty, and I said this. Like you just say, they both had an agenda. They never had that $50,000 in one spot, in one hand, and he knew to give it to them because he wanted their publishing. And so now we had internet people learning about publishing a little bit. They calling him no good. I said no. He knew the business a little bit more than you did. You should have either known the business or went to a lawyer who wasn't going to cheat you to help you with the business. That's how he got your publishing. Because why would you sign your publishing to him when that's the Quan? Because I didn't know he should have helped me. No, that's not his job. He
That's
was
not
a
his job.
It
No.
wasn't his job. And they go around, he was a bad businessman. Nope. You didn't know your business.
Listen, when I got involved, when Soul Generation first got together to go into the studio, we didn't know anything about publishing, production,
Mm-hmm.
management, nothing. All we
Mm-hmm.
knew was we had a guy that wanted to spend some money for studio time to bring us in the studio to cut a song. And the song was Body and Soul, which sold multi-million copies and everything. We got a royalty percentage on it, but there was no publishing involved. Because let me tell you something. When these songs are brought to you, these songs are never totally finished. They
Mm-hmm.
rely on the artist and the talent of the artist to make it happen. When they
Mm-hmm.
gave me Body and Soul, it wasn't like that. They didn't tell
Mm-hmm.
me to sing each line verbatim like this. That was
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Perkins, but I didn't get credit for that. It went to the guy who wrote the song. He got
Mm-hmm.
all the credit for it. Same thing with If I Had $1 Million. They didn't say, Cliff, I want you to go up right there and then come down and up, blah, blah. Like writing a chart for a guitar player, they didn't write a chart for them singing. So most of these artists, when you hear these records, that's them creating that song. They got the fundamentals in the beginning, but fundamentals don't sell a song.
Mm-hmm.
You got to complete it. And verse and rhythm and all those different things have to happen within the song. And most of the time, that's the artist who does that, and they don't get credit for it because they didn't bring the song forward. And it's sad, but that's really the fact. But back then, none of us knew about publishing and production. When we got with doing Body and Soul with this company, they gave us contracts for writers' contracts for us to
Mm-hmm.
sign off as writers with the company.
Mm-hmm. And
And
that's what the labels was given
and
because
that's what
they
they were
wanted to
given.
publish it. And
Yeah,
if you
that's what
knew
they were
too
given.
much, you wasn't gonna get signed.
No, you wasn't gonna get signed. That's why I credit myself with saying no. I don't care. So what? I'll go
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else, or I'll
I,
do it
I
myself.
I have so many artists trying to get their royalties, but they hard head. Still today, I say, my favorite word. That's a headache. I said they don't. They still. I can help them get their royalties just by completing their paperwork. They give you a headache. They don't. They don't want to do nothing. I said then let it go.
Yeah, but you know
Like
what?
let it go. Hmm.
You're never gonna get all that's due to you.
No, you only get
You can't.
7 years to get it back. They give you
Yeah, yeah.
seven
You can't.
years.
How you gonna get it? Where you gonna get the books from?
You
These
get it.
guys,
Go
please.
ahead. Go ahead.
These companies is much smarter than the artists. And I'm telling, they do
Well, they
that
made
for a
up the
living.
rules. They made up
Yeah,
the chapters.
exactly. And they do it every day. We don't do it every day. We do it
That's why
once
they
or
got big
twice.
yachts and big old boats and houses because they have you come in and they stealing your publishing. It's like voting. If it wasn't important, they wouldn't be trying to take it from you. They
That's for
take your
sure.
publishing because it's the quan, it's the master. That's the money maker. You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
you could
they
own
know
your
it's
masters,
longevity.
yeah, if you could own your masters, and they're gonna pass it on to their children and grandchildren who's not even born.
Yeah,
They have the master plan because they wrote it and they figured out how to do it. Now, some people waking up from it and getting their masters back, kudos to them. Like Mace, he's trying to get his back from P. Diddy. He said, I'll give you $1 million for my masters. P. Diddy said no. Because once he learned about it, it's too late. He signed it. He said, okay, look, I'll give you $1 million, get my master. P. Diddy said no. Well, P. Diddy is locked up now. You might could get him back. You need a lawyer to try to get him back now because he lose a lot
yeah.
of stuff. It's just because he didn't understand business and see, P Diddy still like, no, I'm not giving it to you. $1 million, he got $1 million. I said he may give it to you now while he's behind bars. This is the time to make the move,
Hey,
because if he making Mace making tons of money, not even putting records out no more. He wrote all those songs, and he had his paperwork right, and that was the only thing that saved him. His other paperwork.
yeah,
Uh,
because you'd be wondering why a lot of people say they disappear. You don't see them. They probably doing bad. They're doing well. They're getting money. And don't have to do nothing.
Right, and they
They
travel
just
overseas, and overseas honor you more than over here. I mean, everyone get beat at one point, but I'm saying that I know Rakim, like Jeff be booking them at times, and I think he take 2 or 3 shows when they go overseas. He said, "No, I'm not coming for one show." If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but they go over there for the weekend, come back what they could have made in a whole month in America. You know what I
well,
mean?
that's because you're more respected over there. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
red when we first went to South Africa, I was shocked because they threw the red carpet out. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when we landed in the airport, we had 600 people in the airport waiting to sign autographs for us.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed in the airport for 2.5, about 3 hours in the airport
Mm-hmm.
because people wanted to sign autographs. Then when we signed the autographs, we went to the hotel. They came back and put us in the radio station, and they took us around to, well, the ghetto. Their ghetto ain't no joke, boy. They got their ghetto is
Yeah. Yeah.
serious.
Mm-hmm.
But we went into like a project area, like we have here,
Mm-hmm.
and people came out in droves. I mean, there had to be 1,000 people out on the road just wanting to get autographs and talk and I mean, it was just something else to see for me. I mean, it was an experience for me. Coming from a hit record in the U.S. and going to South Africa and Canada and those places, Florida. I mean, France and Germany and stuff. How we were treated. We were treated like the Beatles were treated here.
Hmm. Well, it's just a lot of respect.
Yeah,
They respect it, and over here, as you can see, what's going on in the world today, it's just a lot of disrespect, and
yeah.
so eventually it's going to turn into this because it's like no one, it's oh, don't tell the truth. Tell the truth, you get in trouble. If you lie, yeah, you part of the crew. I'm like,
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is. Get in
yeah.
where you fit in,
This
or you're
stuff
not
here is
going to judge.
terrible.
Yeah, but
But I was saying that I wasn't fortunate because I took care of the business. I became part owner of the record company who was releasing records on Soul
mm-hmm.
Generation. Body and Soul, I became part owner. That's when I became part owner halfway through that record of Body and Soul. And then $1 million, I was part owner and Praying for a Miracle and In Your Way and Yesterday's Memories and all of that stuff. I was part owner of that company. And right
Mm-hmm.
now I own the company that I was with, that Ebony Sound Records. And then I have another company called Two Class Records that we release. My latest CD is released on Two Class Records, the Ooh Baby CD, which is selling exceptionally well.
You got that copy on you now? I know you
Yeah,
got somewhere. Got it. You know, this is show and prove time. You got the there you go. Let them see.
yeah,
For
that's
those
it.
who didn't see, because it's gonna go all over the world.
That's for sure, and that's Ooh Baby, and it's got a lot of great songs on there. Some I've written probably 5 or 6 of them,
Hmm.
and but I own the publishing, I own everything.
Hmm.
And that's because I got a publishing company. A lot of people think you're gonna sit with somebody and they're gonna give you what you want, then you're gonna set up a company. It's too late then. You got to come in with your company. That's like shooting a gun with no bullets.
They're gonna beat you so bad you're gonna have whips on your back.
They got you. They got you. They
Mm-hmm.
know what you're there for. You there to get your name and out and hear it on the radio and do your little shows. But you don't. You got to realize that them shows are far in between. You could work like in 72, 73. We worked. I was home maybe one day out of all those out of 3 years in a row, and then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden the bottom fell out. That's when
Mm-hmm.
disco came in.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't a disco act. We were, a classic soul balladeer group. So now we have to change who we were, and it just wasn't working right. So for a long time, we didn't work half a year. We had no jobs, and we had to think about doing something else at one point, and then it flipped over a little bit and started opening up back to what we do, and it kind of maintained now. It found its niche, and so classic soul and ballads are still functioning with our people and our audience, and
Yeah. Well, so let me ask this: being that on the topic of shows, do you think promoters book the original people at a higher rate or lower rate in 2026? Because
a lower rate, a
a
lower
lower
rate.
rate. Hmm.
Yeah, because they're gonna once they see the people come out, they're gonna say we got them, so we don't have to go get the regular acts or the guys who are still around.
Hmm.
But there are a lot of acts where there's nobody around. I mean, like the main ingredient, there is no main ingredient. All the guys that have passed on.
Hmm.
So that if I seen a made ingredient review, I wouldn't be mad because all they're doing is keeping the name alive and
Right.
they're not stepping on nobody's toes. But when I see a Delphonics review, I get annoyed because Will Hart is still functioning as a Delphonic.
Well, I saw probably a year or 2 years ago. I saw something online, maybe Facebook. Boy, they was having a dog fight. They was having a dog fight because I don't know if it was his wife or it was this woman. She came and started fighting for him, and I jumped in. You know me, I jumped in like that's right. You shouldn't be using his stuff. So you know me, I'm right for that, and I just backed her right up. I never met her, but I backed it up. Like you shouldn't be promoting something you didn't create
Yeah,
unless you're
that's
helping that person create who they are. But to steal it and walk around because that we live in a society where people just stealing stuff, and if you say something, they mad. I said, well, you're gonna get mad today because you know me. I don't. I'm not who I am because of someone else. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's why I
yeah.
do so many things. And I tell people they created that. They're not gonna allow you to steal it from them, and they
Well, you,
still here.
you know what cracks me up, Champagne, is these
Hmm.
guys, the review guys, go to these shows, they do the show, and they out there signing autographs. I mean,
What name they putting? Because we might could get them on some copyright infringement or force.
yeah, I mean, signing autographs and telling stories about the group that they is not true. They weren't there.
Lord have mercy. We are too much out here.
How many temptation review groups you got out there? I don't know, probably 9. I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy, and that part of the business. I mean, I think the Washington D.C. should get involved in that and stop it.
Oof. Did you say
They should
Washington
come out
D.C.?
with a law where if you're going to use the name, then you need to pay the original artist a
It, it,
certain percentage of the money that you make from a
it
show.
might already be in because a gentleman named Paul Williams on ASCAP is suing. Well, he's suing because of the streaming not paying people correctly. They sell him tons of records. Say if you sell 10 million records, they want to give you $2,000. And if you had vinyl and CDs, you sell 10 million, you're gonna become a millionaire. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They are coming to, becoming a millionaire off your streams because they made these softwares on your computers, and you put your music online, and you don't even know what's going on in behind the end because it's their website. That's all these sites are. It's not but people websites. And I tell people, be careful because they buying yachts and houses and taking care of their great grandchildren who's never born with your creativity. So go back
yeah,
to vinyls and CDs and watch people purchase them.
yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
asked me the other day, how you get some vinyl? Ain't nothing changed. No company's still out there. You
Well,
know what I
you
mean?
got a lot in a lot of these companies in London
Mm-hmm.
and those areas over there. They're still into vinyl because I know
Big
a guy
time.
called me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a guy called me from London. He said, "Look, man." He said, "I'm coming to London with my group of vinyl people, and we need a sound system and we need a place to go." So I hooked up a place for my hotel.
Mhm.
and I hooked up a sound system for them. I hired a guy to do the sound. Well,
Mhm.
I got paid for it, for
Mhm.
my work and everything. But they came in and they stayed 5 days, and they were selling vinyl. They had vinyl all over the place in that hotel, and it
Mhm.
was it was really good to see, and they
That's the
said, "Well,
original DJ. 8 tracks, cassettes, vinyl. That's where you
yeah,
heard that real music. That's where you, the vinyls where you could read who did what. Like today, you don't even know who did what unless they on TV committing a crime.
that's for
So
sure." You
is
said
it?
8 track. I had to put this up. This is an 8 track of soul.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. Turn that
Eh,
around to the side. Look at that.
Well,
Eight
that's it.
track.
That's just a. It's
It
just
was,
blank
yeah,
in the back,
I know
But
8 track was like the big VHS. Remember the VHS to watch the
yeah, that's
movies?
that's what it
That's
was.
what
This
it is.
here, it used to go into the car. Remember, we
I
used to have
remember,
eight
yeah.
tracks in the car.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
I
this is the
remember.
only one I got. I've had it. We sold a few of them. But I've had this 8 track and it's been sitting up here forever with the rest of my
Probably
stuff.
sell for $1 million at this point.
Yeah, yeah, and then that was our first album, and it was. And I'm dating myself, calling it an album and not a CD. That was our first album, though.
The
And
first 8 track album, right?
yeah, 8 track. But I mean, this is my wall. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it clear.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah, it's very
wall.
clear.
That's
What you got, a webcam or something?
yeah.
It's very clear. You can see everything.
Yeah, yeah. So, and this is in my room where I do my radio shows. But that's some of my accomplishments. I have another room that has more gold records and stuff. 'Cause I couldn't get them all in here. And then on
Mhm.
this side here are a lot of shows
Mhm.
that Soul Generation has done. That show up top was the first show we did in
Mhm.
Newark Symphony Hall. And who's headlining the show? The Delphonics.
Mhm.
And that's Will Hart and the Love Unlimited and Soul
Yeah.
Generation.
When I think of Delphonics, I think of my cousin Gwen. Boy, she used to sing that song in Newark, back in Newark. And every
Yeah,
time I hear it, I think of Gwen. I said, my cousin.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, huh?
So it's been my experience has been great. I got to meet a lot of great people, great artists. I've worked with everybody. I mean, Sammy
Mhm.
Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra. I mean, Bill Cosby. To name a few in Las Vegas, and we've been around. We did the first R&B. What was that? The first R&B show in what was that? In L.A. in Las Vegas. No, 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 not Las Vegas. In L.A. We stayed at the Wilshire Hilton Hotel, and it was just everybody was there. I met Barry White there before he was Barry White.
Mhm.
He was carrying luggage for Love Unlimited, and he came in the door, and I said, "Hey man, how you doing? I'm Cliff Perkins, Soul Generation." He said, "Hey, I'm Barry White." I said, "Okay."
Mhm. Mhm.
And a year
The
later, he
maestro.
blew up. A year
The
later, he blew up. He was hotter than cayenne pepper.
Yeah, the maestro.
Yeah.
Telling me this
Yeah,
and
but we were
telling
we
me
were up
that.
for an award. The most promising group of the year was 1972 for us. And who was there? The Jackson Five was there. Supremes was there. Earth, Wind and Fire. Who was Sly Stone? I mean, it was just an array. Lou Rawls, all them folks were there, and we won the award that year. And it was really cool, to do that. My first experience was landing in LA, and a guy was walking around with a sign over his head with Soul Generation's name because he was looking for us to pick us up and put
I
us
have a
in the
question for
limousine.
you
Okay.
from Derek Float Wright. He said, Cliff, when is the next show? Cliff Perkins thanks Champagne for having a true icon on your podcast show. That's Derek Float. You know Float.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell Float we
He's
getting ready.
watching. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took off. I take off all of July, so I just got back to work this week because I was out the whole month of July. I do it every year. I just don't do nothing. I enjoy my house and my pool and all that kind of stuff. And so we're setting up tours now. Matter of fact, I got to go to Canada and Montreal and Toronto next week. And then we come back. We're doing Philadelphia. That's going to closest we're going to be to this area. It's going to be in
That's a blue
Philly.
flyer, right? Isn't
Yeah,
you got a
yeah,
blue
yeah.
flyer
With
out
the
there?
yeah. The flyers on Facebook, and I'll be putting more flyers up for different places. But we're going back to South Africa, uh,
Huh, you might, yeah,
Washington
hold on. You
D.C.
going to South Africa. You know that man trying to keep everybody out of here. You better be careful.
I know.
Sure, I wouldn't go no place right now until he's out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He's something. He is something. Don't get me started on him.
I know that's another segment. Cause that, whew, it'll be lit up. We have like 1 million views because we be talking crap and all them bots to be in there trying to defend them.
Yeah, so Derek, I'll let you know what when we're gonna be close to. I know we got to go to DC and Baltimore. I know that's on the schedule. I don't have the schedule in front of me right now. My girl is taking care of that.
Hmm.
But I'll let you know and I'll post it on Facebook and so you'll have it.
Well, let's get to it. Let's show them where they can buy them books at. The Amazon. Let's talk to them. Hmm.
Yeah, they can get that stuff on Amazon. Amazon is selling that stuff and I'm
Put
getting
your
ready to
name
set
in.
up some more. I'm getting ready to set up some more book signings in Jersey City and a few other locations I'm working on right as
Hmm.
we speak. So
Hmm.
I'm going to have that going on again. And matter of fact, I just had a book signing at a party this past Saturday uh,
Hmm.
at my friend's house, at Fred Garland's house in Union, New Jersey. We had about 100 people there.
Mm.
I think I sold about 65 books,
Mm.
yeah, that day. So it was pretty good. People were supporting and well, I expected support from that group because I went to school with most of them in that room. So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's working out pretty good. It's working out better than I thought it would work out. This is my first time doing this book stuff and I'm learning a lot about this, how this thing works.
Well, basically, you make a book, you go sell it like records,
Yeah,
like you've
you're
been
right.
doing.
You're
And then
right.
don't forget, when you're on Amazon, they could just use the link, or they could basically just put your name in by Cliff Perkins, and the links will pop up with all your books. Just make sure they put your name inside of Amazon.com. Just like if you're shopping on Amazon, you shop on Amazon for all the Cliff books. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just I hear people say, "Man, I'm gonna get your book," and I'm looking at them like, "You don't have it yet?" And these are like friends of mine. I'm saying, "What do you mean you're gonna get it? You don't have it yet?"
Shoot, money is funny. You know what I
I
mean?
know, I
It's
know it is.
funny out here. I mean, because, whoo, they are firing, letting people go, and people out here struggling for groceries. they
Yeah, uh,
out here trying to make it happen. But I
yeah.
could
Well,
I
that's
could
the
tell you
thing. Is
one
we
thing.
gotta find a way.
You got to find a way, because that is the New Jersey way. That's the American way. You got
Yeah,
to find a way, and that's why
yeah,
I say I got to do this and do that, and because I got to find a way. And
yeah,
but the first book, I think a lot of people was very, very excited. They was happy you went that route so they could read, the inside, because sometimes when you meet a person, they out performing, you don't get to read the inside of them because there's no outlets like back in the day. The radios used to be there, but everyone's, they on their little podcast now on their
yeah.
little computers. Is people need to hear your story because, like I said, the album's not there where they can read stuff because most fans used to read albums and knew everything about them. So a book is almost like reading a little bit about what's going on with you. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to. I remember the albums. Remember the back, flip it back. The album, you could read everything. Now and they came with CDs. You can't even see it. I got to put magnifying glass to read that stuff.
Because they doing something to it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, but the albums were great, and had the back and read about everybody, knew about everybody. But the first book, Soul of a Generation. I mean, that tells all the stuff about. I didn't get into negativity because that's not who I am. There were a lot of things I could have said in the book that were negative that happened because those things happen to everybody, it ain't just me. It happens to everybody. Some this don't work, that don't work, this don't work. But well, no sense in talking about it. So that's why I stay positive with everything in that book and try to let people know what I went through to get to where I am today and what I needed to do with all the trials and tribulations of getting into business and actually staying in the business and
Well, let me jump in. Okay, we have Derek Span. He said, "Let Perkins." Well, he missed. Let Perkins for a definitely icon. I enjoyed the. He's trying to say the show. He got excited. He left a couple of words out, but we all do that. We all do that. Span used to be a singer. I don't know if he still blow. And then Float says thanks for sharing and hope to see you soon in the area. You know what I mean? So you had Span said let Perkins for I had to figure it out. Span, rewrite that. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Well,
You know,
these things, you write something and it prints something else. I mean, you got to really double check what you write
you
before you
got to
send it
double
out.
check because I know I be talking crap online and then somebody will press it and I go look. I say I wrote that.
Yeah,
I should
yeah,
have edited and go. You got an edit button up there. You go and change the word because it'd be looking like I didn't even go to school.
that's for sure. It'd be crazy. You'd be
Because
misspelling
I'd be so
words.
busy trying to say what I'm saying, and I say, hold up, read everything you put out. But that's
Yeah,
life. All of us do
yeah,
it. That's the American way.
yeah.
And
Yeah. But doing the book, the soul of a generation, it was fun. I mean, because it brought back things that I forgot, and then I
mhm.
remembered, and then we put it in context. Or you put it in context, and it was a good read for me, and it was about me.
Well, it was just I like to call it teamwork, make the dream work. Um, we like we agree, you play a certain part, just like anything in media. You got to do this, and then we get it, we put our source on it, just like when you're on stage, you cover somebody's song. It's their song, but you put your source on it. You know what I mean? Your twist or your source, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
It's just everyone has a different skill, and when you add in your skill, it makes it enhances. Even though some people don't see it right away, it enhances it. You know what I mean? Because you'll see, you're gonna be like, dang, yeah, everybody buying these books. They're gonna buy them, and you already
yeah,
just said you sold some over the weekend. They're gonna okay, here you go. He rewrote it. You caught me, Stan. Cliff Perkins, you were definitely an icon. I enjoyed the music coming up. That's what Span says. Did you see it? You can see it, Cliff.
yeah. Tell Span I said, hey, right on.
Hey, he can hear you. He's watching it. He's still continue. Hey,
Oh,
Spain,
okay.
y'all could come on. Hey, listen, I done learned this stuff right here. I'm like a whole engineer going on right here. I'm doing engineer. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the you got that talent to do that stuff. See, I don't have that talent to do that.
hmm
My talent lies elsewhere, and that's where I'm staying focused with. I ain't trying to learn too much. You know what
Listen,
I'm
this
saying?
stuff gives you a headache. You
I'm
already
telling
know.
you.
You're trying to remember everything, then then you go learn something else. You be like, I just tried to learn that. My brain going. I see why some people brain just go crap. You don't put so much in it. They say, "Oh, you
Yeah,
didn't even use half of your brain yet, girl." I said, "Y'all have no idea learning this stuff backwards because they be making it so hard to learn." And when I learn it, I said, "I could have learned it this way." They make
well,
it so
they
backwards.
make it hard for you to learn because they don't want you to learn it. That's what
Yeah,
that's
and then when
about.
I learned it, I said, "This stuff not hard." Well, I don't like to say easy, but I said this was simple. They could have did a simpler way. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but you see, you got some loyal fans from Chilltown on the check-in. You got other people on the check-in over here. You got people on the check-in in YouTube. So you're on YouTube, Instagram, different people on the check-in checking you out. And what would you say to your fans today, especially your loyal fans?
Stay loyal.
Uh huh. Stay loyal.
Yeah, stay loyal, stay with me because I'm still doing stuff and I need your help. I can't, like with my book, The Soul of a Generation, I want to get a bestseller on that thing and I can't do it by myself. So I need everybody out there to chip in and go
And
on
share
Amazon.
the links.
Yep,
When you
share
see
that
clips, share
link.
a link, and if you got
Yeah,
the time, share the link because some
yep,
people didn't see it. You'd be like, oh, they saw it. No, you got to keep sharing, and it's like promoting a record. It takes
yeah,
6 to 8 months, sometimes a year, to get one single to pop. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yep, that's for sure. And a lot of people, we assume that because we're on Facebook, but a lot of people don't, are not on Facebook. I hear talk to a lot of
A
people say,
lot of people.
I'm not on Facebook. I said, really? I said, oh, okay. Only reason I'm on Facebook because of my experience in the past. In the past, when we wanted to do advertisement, we had to pay for it. We had to run an ad or whatever. We had to go in the paper and pay for that. And on Facebook, you don't pay. You just do your ad, and I'm on there every day pushing these books every day, and I don't
And,
have to pay a dime. And you got to take advantage of it while it's here. You got to, and
And
that's what.
yeah, because at the end of the day, we had to get 5,000 flyers to go put them in stores and walk around the streets putting events out.
Yeah,
What we're doing
yeah.
today, you pay for one flyer and you just put it out and it goes all over. You keep sharing it.
All over, and you share it on different little avenues, the TikTok and all the other little places
You got
that
LinkedIn, TikTok. Well,
yeah,
I mean, I got 3 destinations where this feed is going now. You know how? by the end of this month, it'll be all over the world. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Once
yeah,
we close it down, it goes all over, and you'd be like, "Wow, all those people watching." That's why I wanted to get back involved with this
yeah,
because the internet is the what? It's the hit. It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
hit. Hmm.
But they'll notice about me that I don't talk. I don't say nothing on these sites.
Hmm.
I just plant my books and my flyers and my radio show and and that's all I do. I don't get into those conversations because you get into negativity with people and people get negative and they say something that
And
pisses you
that's a
off.
fact.
So I'm not even going to
And
entertain that. I don't want to make no enemies. I don't want to be an enemy. I just
and you don't mix the two. You need separate pages if you're gonna do that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. So I just put the stuff out there, let the people see it, and let them know where I am and what I'm doing, and that's it. That's enough for me. The only time I talk on there is someone dies or a friend of mine's wife just passed. Ken
my
Murphy.
condolences. Hmm.
Yeah, and I might put something up about her, but I probably won't. I spoke to Ken this morning, and we talked for about an hour.
Yeah, my deepest condolences because that's such a touchy subject. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we talked for about an hour today, and I just shared my feelings. And what can you say? I mean, it's just one of those things, something that we all going to go through. So, I mean,
Well, I would like to say this. Unfortunately, I'm not able to play any of your songs because of copyright infringement. Um, I played Paula the other day. She was on a song with Daddy IU. I got an email when I woke up. YouTube said, "We'll take your page." Not
yeah,
even 24 hours. They don't play anymore. So
yeah,
basically, what we're going to do now is really push your last shout outs and last links and everything else you want the folks to know to be on this show because they're going to be listening and watching it for a very long time because it'll be on the internet. Let somebody take it off, you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, the main thing I want to say is what you can do right now is go get this book.
Okay, hold it up. Mm-hmm.
This is The Soul of a Generation. It talks about my trials and tribulations getting into the music industry and staying there. And there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of great pictures in there of shows and people who I've been with, and just general conversation about Soul Generation that you might not know, or I know you don't know because you weren't there. And,
Mm-hmm.
and here you can say, "I've been there. I know that. I heard it. I read it, and that's what the real deal is." And then we
Mm-hmm.
came back with the Mix of Success,
Mm-hmm.
another book to go get. Anybody who's trying to get into business, they need to have this book.
Mm-hmm.
All these kids that are thinking even these hip hoppers and
That's right.
rappers and all that other stuff. It's all about business. It don't matter what you sing or how you do it. When you can sit down with them guys to discuss your contract, you better know some of this stuff that's in this book, else you're gonna come out there with nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
and your longevity is gonna be very short. Trust me. And then we got the baseball, and I don't know if people knew I was a baseball player and all that stuff in Jersey City. And then I was in a farm team. I was in a Yankee farm team for a few years, and got involved in the music business because I wasn't making no money there. So I had to get into the music business and do something else. But this book here is called Batter Up, and it talks about Jersey City. It talks about Little League baseball in Jersey City, the Greenville National Little League, where I played when I was 8 years old. And I followed my cousin Eddie Boy Campbell, who was on the Greenville National Little League team called Easton Motors. And I used to go down to the park with my dad and watch Eddie Boy play baseball. And then when Eddie left and moved on, I moved in.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed there for 4 years, and I moved into Babe Ruth. And this picture here is my son Tony, Tony Perkins, and he played for me when I coached. I got into coaching at Greenville National Little League, and I coached a team called Murray Stars. And we had great success. Matter of fact, I don't know if anybody else has won, but I won district championships with the All Star team in Greenville
Yeah, I
National.
think what's his name? The light skinned guy, Owens or Goins, something like that.
Yeah.
I think I have a picture with them winning something. I forget what it was.
Well, I was there. I was a coach with him too. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
before him. I had won the district championship. Me and Harry Hilliard, the
Yeah, I
great
got
Harry Hilliard.
yeah, I see a picture with you and Harry on one, and then it's one with him and his. They all jumping out. I think I got it in the film.
Yeah, yep, yep, yep. So I coached that team with him too, and my son played on that team.
Hmm.
And so I've been very active in Jersey City doing different things and giving shows. I was in the promotion field,
Well,
Champagne for a while. I promoted probably about 10 concerts at NJCU, New Jersey City University.
let
They
me
were
ask you
all,
this:
hmm
Float want to get on? Do you have time for Float to get on and come on the scene with you for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm here. I
All
ain't
right,
got.
hold on.
I'm
I'm
here.
ready. Hold on, Flo. He said yes. Hold on. Let me get him the link. It's a process.
That's all right. Sure.
Okay, because okay, I gotta, I'm navigating this. Boom, boom. Okay. Oh, I know what I could do. I could go where I sent you the link and just copy and paste it. It's the same link for the same show. Okay, boom. And so finish talking while I'm doing this.
Yeah, well, Flo's lucky that you're doing this because he done never got on with me.
You hear that float? You know he can hear you. He can see you. Like you lucky.
I don't know nothing about no copy and paste and move to here and turn to left and all that old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay,
I
I'm
ain't
ready to
trying.
send.
I ain't trying to learn.
Okay, I'm gonna send him a link. Okay, boom. I sent it to him now. See if he click it. Click link. All right, so
But
give him a
yeah,
few
yeah.
minutes. Mm-hmm.
Along with that, with my radio show, a matter of fact, I'll be on the radio tomorrow night from 7 to 9 on C19 Radio Boss FM, and I play all these classic soul artists. I play everything I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I program the station and my show anyway, and I play all the music I grew up with and then some. I play some classic soul. I play R&B. I play jazz. I play some pop songs. Not too much rap. I play Sugar Hill Gang because they were friends of mine, but the rest of that stuff.
And I was talking to Big Jeff about him because I had him at 12, and we was talking how the Bronx be like they not the first hip hop. I said, come on, y'all, they sold the most record. It was a story that he stole on Cash Rhymes, but you left your book there. I probably would have took him too. You know what I'm saying? It was gonna
Yeah,
give me a hit song. Let me just say, a grown man leaving his lyrics, anything can happen. Because it was that type of thing. All right,
yeah.
we have Float. I'm about to bring him in. All right. All right. It's three of us here. You can see everybody. Look, one. Here's
Yes.
a story
Hey, what's
of a
up,
lovely
Flo?
All
lady.
right, how you
She
feeling?
got three singers of her own. Now, let me stay.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
All right, I was at the show with you at the library in Jersey City, and you let me
Oh yeah,
sing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun time. Um, so like I asked Champagne to ask you, but when is the next uh like record that you're gonna write that's like exclusive to you?
The next show here.
The
No,
record. He said
the
record.
next, yes, the next record you're gonna write that's gonna be exclusive, like how the high notes that everything that you do, like the
Woo.
if I had
Okay.
$1 million, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I know.
yeah.
I know. I know what you mean. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But times change.
Okay, all right.
All right, times change. Putting out more records. You never know. They.
Yeah. I don't know for sure. You know what, Float, man? Putting these records out is a nightmare now because there's no radio stations.
Okay.
We can't get played. Do you know how many acts, classic soul acts, have had new records out that you never even heard?
Mm.
OJ's had a new CD out. Rageman and Brown had a new CD out. Manhattan's had a new CD out. I had a new CD out. Who else?
Okay.
A bunch of
Excuse
us
me. Excuse
have
me,
had
though.
new CDs out, but because there's no radio to promote it, only thing we
Mm.
can do is sell them at our shows. And what happens
Okay.
is, without the radio promoting it and letting people know about the song, when we go to these shows, we can't even sing them songs because people don't want to hear them songs because they don't know what the songs are. They just want to hear the songs that you recorded, your hits.
And
Like
on the
new hits.
Well,
radio and what they heard on the
Yeah,
radio.
anything they heard on the radio, you can sing. But you go there and try to sing a new, like I'm singing a new song, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. They say, okay, let's get this over with. Let's get into Body and Soul and $1 million and Praying for a Miracle
mm,
and all those things. So
mm,
that's why it's
okay.
kind of hard now to go in the studio and cut new material because you can cut new material. The Whispers has some new stuff out, and you don't even
Oh
hear
yeah.
it. You don't even know it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so until we get more radio stations, you're not gonna hear no new music by nobody.
But Clip, I know you have your own radio station too, because
Yeah,
Champagne can listen to
and
it.
I play my stuff as much as I can without trying to make people mad. You know, how people are. Oh, he got a station. All he do is play Soul Generation. I hear that too. So I play it periodically. This the new CD, which is this one. I don't know if you've seen it float the Ooh Baby CD. You got that?
I think I have it. Yes, I do. I do have
Yeah.
it.
I play Ooh Baby. Ooh Baby, one of my favorite song on there that I wrote with another partner,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
you know, it's one of my favorite songs that I recorded, and I recorded a lot of stuff. Did a lot of stuff, and
You know what?
I did a lot of background. A lot of people don't know I did a lot of backgrounds on a lot of people's albums. Phyllis
I
Hyman and
I can also tell you too, Cliff. When you used to be on Iggy and like going towards the Boulevard, I think that's where you lived.
yeah,
My sister Donna Wright used to bring me around when y'all was practicing in the basement. I used to be a small kid. I used to be down there with y'all. You
Donna
probably
Wright's
don't remember.
boyfriend. Donna Wright's boyfriend was my guitar player.
Exactly. Larry.
Larry,
Yes.
Larry
Mm-hmm.
Dorito.
See?
Larry
See?
Dorito, and I had his brother too, Ed Dorito. Ed was the
Right.
bass player. Larry was John Davis was a bass player. Bunchy was the
Mm-hmm.
drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's my sister. That's my oldest. I'm the baby. But I used to come down there with and when y'all was I heard it when y'all before y'all did $1 million and before you put it out. I was like, wow, I like that. Like I was go home sing it all the time,
yeah,
you know? But
yeah. Donna was my buddy. That's for. I matter of fact, I
oh
saw
yeah.
Donna. Well, it's been about I guess about a year now. I seen her in City Hall, and
Mm-hmm.
she was doing an event. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, man, I remember. I remember.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's my big sister. That's my blood sister. But
Yeah,
yeah, for sure, for
Same
sure.
mom and
Mhm.
daddy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's for sure.
Sibling.
Donna's my
But
buddy.
I've always been a follower of you, no matter where you going. If I was able to make it, even before I lost my legs, because I lost my legs. That's why I'm not doing so much stuff now. But
Oh, okay.
I lost both my legs, but I
Oh
still
gosh.
sing, and I still sing, and I still love to hear you sing too. That's why I come out when you're on the bill
Yeah,
every time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. That's you. In your situation, I appreciate it more.
Oh yeah,
That's
for
for
sure,
sure.
Well, you
for
know,
sure.
Flo always covered a lot of people's songs, especially Luther Vandross. People hire him to go sing cover songs, for Luther Vandross song. And he could sing it because they keep calling him back. Because Cliff and I was just talking about, different artists covering their
Mhm.
song, but you don't sign his autograph when they ask you for autograph. You don't sign his name, right, Flo?
No,
Right.
I signed mine.
Well,
You
your
know what I
name
mean?
right, but I'm saying you don't sign
Derek
your,
Flo, right?
you don't
I don't
say
sign Luther. No, no,
Luther, delusion
no,
of
never,
Luther. I'm just
never.
messing with you.
You know,
You know me.
I did some backgrounds on that stuff when Luther first came out on the Change album.
Okay.
Yeah, Gwen Guthrie called me in and she said, "Cliff, this guy bringing in some songs. A guy named Ray Malavisi at a London." So he called me on the
Mm,
phone and said I need a background singer for some. So I went in and did some backgrounds. I never even seen Luther. We just went in and did
mm.
backgrounds, and that was it. But
Right.
I did a lot of that stuff, with Phyllis Hyman and this
Okay.
guy named Larry Wu. I don't know if you heard of Larry
Mm,
Wu. Larry Wu could really sing. He was mixed Japanese
mm,
and black.
Well, I
That
know
guy,
mm.
Karate Woo.
yeah, that guy could sing. He could really
Yeah,
sing.
crazy, crazy.
You remember Mr. Wu, the Karate Kid? That Woo?
Oh
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi.
Float. I did $1 million over again with tomorrow's edition.
Oh, oh
Go on
wow.
YouTube. It's on
Oh,
YouTube. Put in tomorrow's edition, and it'll be $1 million. And I'm doing the lead. And another guy from tomorrow's edition, William Jones, who was passed on, did
okay.
the other lead.
Okay. Let me
Yeah,
check it.
yeah.
Oh,
And I did
as
Body
soon
and
as
Soul over as a solo artist.
oh wow. Okay. I
Yeah.
can
So
check
just
that.
go
I
on
can check
YouTube.
it.
YouTube got all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And you'll be able
All
to
right.
hear it. Yeah. So
Okay, float. Thank you for floating in. You
All
know what I
right.
mean?
Thanks.
And keep on watching. We about to sign off in 5 minutes. I love you,
Okay.
Float, my brother
Love
from
you,
another mother.
love you
Hey,
too.
Float, the
Love you.
guys who made Float On is my cousins.
Oh wow. Hey,
See?
you know what?
Uh-huh.
And my cousin is Gerald Austin.
I was with
What?
Gerald last week.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You relate to
Mm-hmm.
everybody in Chilltown, Float. You got
Mm-hmm.
what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Sharp.
Barber Sharp.
Cliff know her too. Right?
I used to book Barbara too in Jersey City,
That's
down
his
near
Mm-hmm.
Liberty
cousin.
State Park.
That's his
Mm-hmm.
cousin. Uh-huh. Well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
everybody related.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know
Well,
Are you
I've known Barbara. I
and
know
Cliff
Barbara when Emmett was her manager. You remember
oh
Emmett?
oh yeah, and Cliff, you are the legend, so no doubt about it.
Well, Float,
Thank
you
you,
better
man.
let them know in Jersey City because he need the street name after him. And
Oh
then
yeah.
let them know. Don't be throwing no events and not pulling in because I'm his advocate sometimes. But I'm gonna mind my business. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
because me, I'm too outspoken. They be like, I hate champagne. No, you don't. I just tell you what you need to hear directly, right? Like Jeff said earlier.
Exactly.
He said, "You cool, but you just straight shooter." I said, "You need somebody that like that. Everybody
Yeah.
can't be like that, but you need one person who I don't like her. Well, she didn't do that to you. She just told you what you need to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's important.
And before I go, Cliff is in the glow of
Love. Dun,
love.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Wait,
In
hold up,
the
Flo. Hold on,
glow of
Flo. Nah, nah,
love.
nah, Flo, Flo. Nah, you gonna sing Cliff song. You ain't gonna do that. You
Oh,
gonna
okay.
you no. This a Cliff time. Luke,
If
I love you,
I
man.
had
But there
a
you go.
There you
million
go.
dollars, I'd buy some love just to get to you.
Dun,
And if
dun.
I had $1 million, I'd buy some love just to get to you. If
Dun.
Hey,
I
hey, Flo, you know what you need
had...
to do? You need to tell some of these singers that sing that song to sing the right words.
Right. Okay. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You got to give it to them.
He
All
has a
right.
great memory too, because we be on the phone going to what song to song, and
Oh
some
yeah.
people just can't remember those. So I said, Float, one thing we do is finish songs, and
Yep,
because
for
we
sure.
DJ'd at one point, we was
Yeah.
DJs.
That's
So
right, for
being a
sure.
DJ, you need to know the lyrics, where to switch them, and everything. So being
Yeah,
a
gotta
former
know it.
DJ, we always a DJ, but we was in it hard back in the
Yeah,
day,
for
and so
sure.
we learned the lyrics. And like I said, the older classic songs, we knew
Hmm.
the person who sung it, what studio went to, who played bass, who did lead, who wrote the lyrics. Today, like I said, I couldn't even tell you who's who unless they on the news
That's
because of
right.
murder or something.
We don't even know.
Now ain't nobody playing nothing. Now they do everything on the computer.
On the
So
computer because
Mm.
they have all the instruments, and I'm one of them. We got all the instruments in the software. A real horn, they have somebody play the horn and it's real. I say, oh my god, everybody's out of a job except for people who are going to use the computer.
yeah.
Okay, all right,
All
Float,
right.
thank you for stepping
All
in,
right.
floating in.
All right, Flo.
Okay.
Take care, buddy. Talk to
All
you.
right.
Take care of
Thanks.
I,
All
yourself.
right,
I
Cliff.
holler at you.
Okay.
All right,
All
all
right.
right. Okay, we're gonna sign off in 3 minutes. So, what's your last final thoughts?
Well, I had a good time today talking to folks and talking to the ones that listened and hopefully they'll show out to buy these books because I need their help buying these books. But aside from that, I'd like to thank everyone for supporting Soul Generation and Cliff Perkins over the years because it's been 52 years of this stuff. And I started in 1972. And what is this? This is 2026
Mm-hmm.
and we're still doing it. They're still coming to shows and commenting on Facebook and all of that. So it's great. It's a great feeling to know that people care, and I just want them to keep caring. And for as long as I can do it, I'm going to be doing this thing between singing and books and singing and books, and that's going to be
Well,
it.
and don't forget that you go to Amazon.com and where the search bar, y'all put in Cliff Perkins or buy Cliff Perkins. Just put Cliff Perkins in, boom, all his books pop up. You have them in different versions. I have Kindle, you have paperback, and you have hardcover.
Hardcover. Yep.
You know, and there's more to come, but we got to take care of this one, y'all. We got to push this, and then when you out and about, you have other things that you sell. What are some of the other things you sell on your table? Because I see you got a
Well,
table there.
I sell CDs, I sell pens, I sell pen sets, I sell bags, pictures. uh,
I,
t-shirts,
you,
hats.
you see this? You see this on the screen now? Look at this.
Yeah, yeah, that's my store.
Yeah, you got
That's my
books,
store.
shirts, hats, all types of good
And
stuff.
look at my tablecloth. Got a picture of me on my tablecloth with the soul of a generation.
Yeah, you got to be uniform, got to look brand. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a marketing guy. That was my major in college, so I'm a marketing cat, and I understand marketing. And I understand marketing. Don't understand the computers, but I understand marketing.
Well, it's been a pleasure hanging out with Cliff Perkins, the legendary lead singer of Soul Generation and now book author of three prominent books with the Soul of a Generation, Mix of Business, and Batter Up. Y'all can get your copies right there at Amazon.com. And don't forget, one day we're going to have a reading session where we have 10 people on the screen. Everybody can read a chapter or at least a page. You know what I mean? We're going to
Yeah,
see if y'all been in the book club. You're going to see if y'all been reading, you know?
yeah, yeah, and that'll be fun. We can talk. We can really chop it up. That's for sure.
Okay. Signing off. Thank you.
Thank you,
Peace.
everybody. Bye bye. Have a great night. Stay safe, and listen to me tomorrow night on the radio show at WMEL Radio C19 dot Radio Boss FM. Come
Or
on and
just
hang out with me.
come to Cliff page and see the flyer that he drops. If you can't find the link, it'll be on his page, Cliff
Yeah,
Perkins.
yeah.
And peace and love and a whole lot of fun.
We're
Peace.
out.
Okay, let me end that.